What's up, everybody? How are you guys doing on this fine evening? Hope you guys are all doing good. Hello, hello. What's up, guys? I was just watching the World Cup game, Argentina and Cape Verde, I think is the country's name, but it was intense. How are you guys doing? Hello, hello. Good to see all your beautiful faces. All right, we will get started here in just a second. What's up, Lynn? What's up, Stuart, Russell, Birds? What's up, TK? All right. What side were you on the World Cup game? Oh, I don't really have a side. I was just trying to watch a good game, and it was a great game. What's up, Carl? What's up, Drink? Good to see you guys. All right, so today I wanted to talk about a Twitter post that is going viral right now. Well, viral relatively speaking in terms of online age verification news. There's this guy named Hannibal who is like a researcher of some kind, who was actually just made a post recently talking about the fact that the Kids Act was paid for by over 120 major tech, telecom, and media companies. So essentially, he's talking about the companies lobbying for IDH verification. So before we even get started, just want to clarify that when a company is listed as lobbying for a law, they can also be lobbying against the law. So that doesn't mean that all 120 companies listed here that we're going to look into are lobbying for IDH verification. A few of them we know for sure are, like Scumbag Has Met over here. We know they are for sure lobbying in favor of IDH verification. But yeah, that doesn't mean that every single company here is doing it, because some companies are actually lobbying against IDH verification. But yeah, so without further ado, let's get into it. So he was talking about the fact that the Kids Act was paid for. File lobbying occurred on a single bill, and he's talking about specifically the Kids Act. And they're not reading it, they're negotiating the text. Lobbying disclosures on the bill means these companies submitted markups, drafted amendments, met with committee staff, and traded provisions behind closed doors. They bought their way into the drafting room. So you guys are saying Microsoft in the chat. Yes, Microsoft is over here. Now, we'll have to look into it to see if they were lobbying for IDH verification or against it. But because Microsoft is full of crap, I would imagine that they're lobbying for IDH verification. I know Microsoft also gets mad when you put that in their Discord as well. I'm sure you guys remember the story. So Microsoft, as we'll call them, they have a Discord server where people were saying Microsoft, and they were banning people for saying that. But yeah, so he's talking about the fact that the companies are funding the bill, hired the lobbyists who drafted the language, working with the legislators who sponsor it, and voting it through before the opposition can read it. The Kids Act is a consolidated package. HR 775 is the container. S1409 is the engine. The companies in the screenshot paid for it, right? So obviously, again, just want to reiterate, and I'll reiterate this a few times during the stream. Just because a company is listed on a lobbying website to have lobbied, like for lobbying for a law, that doesn't necessarily mean that they lobbied for the law. That could also mean that they lobbied against the law. But some would argue that this would, the whole lobbying thing is bullshit to begin with. The fact that companies can influence politicians to make laws. I mean, this might surprise you guys, but the government's kind of corrupt, Yeah, I mean, I don't know. So here's a few screenshots that we can look at over here. So, a few of the companies that we have listed over here. Obviously, we got Microsoft at number 1. Meta over here, Alphabet, which is obviously the company that owns Google, which is the company that owns YouTube. And so what's up, 1KQ? How you doing, buddy? Yeah, so what's it called? And you have a bunch of other stuff over here. So you have AT&T, Comcast, companies like that. Every time I hear news about age verification, I feel less and less confident in my life as a whole lately. Life sucks. I mean, that's a really bad way to look at it, because there's still a lot of great things going on in life. And even when you look at IDH verification, you got to focus on the positive, right? A law got blocked in Nevada. This law did pass in the House, but it's likely going to get burned in the Senate. So, I mean, you have to change your mindset. If you look at everything in a negative way, everything will seem negative. You know what I mean? But yeah, corporate influence over politics is the reason copyright terms are absurdly long. Oh, yeah, 100%. So yeah, like I said, doesn't necessarily mean that the companies are lobbying in favor of ID age verification, but just a few things written over here. 120 unique organizations have registered to lobby on this bill. That's what I mean when I say not all 120 will have been what's called lobbying for it. Click on a client's name to view all the bills on which they reported. Thank you for the $2, Dorothy. Really appreciate it. John Haidt really influenced companies to censor. Yeah, and that book that you were talking about, right? Thank you for the $2, Dorothy. Really appreciate it. What up, Super Sniper? So you click on the number of reports to view all the client's reports. I mentioned this bill, moving to the sponsors, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, occasionally a lobbying client may refer to a bill number from a previous Congress, either an error or because they are lobbying on a bill that has not yet been assigned a number. This bill is backward big time and will most likely not make it through Senate. Yeah, you know what the funny thing is? It's actually going to make it through. It's probably not going to make it through Senate for a reason that we all wouldn't, approve of, right? So the Kids Act, right? Again, there's no way to tell for sure. Obviously, I'm just giving you my opinion. The Kids Act that passed in the House, what was that, a few days ago, that everybody's upset about, including myself, right? It's likely not going to make it through the Senate because the Senate thinks that Kids Act is way too, it's not strict enough. Thank you for the 1,000, is that Argentinian rupees? Thank you so much, Booty. I really appreciate it. Booty, one of those. Booty for GD, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. The stigma surrounding Generation Alpha leads to the existence of laws that strip us of our rights, regardless of whether we are gifted, and worse, they take away our privacy. Thank you so much for the donation. I really appreciate you, buddy. Let's get some W's for him. And yeah, I mean, our rights are getting stripped away from our very eyes from him. So, yeah. People asking why for no reason. You all know why. It's for data harvesting. Yeah, I mean, essentially, it's for data harvesting for companies to sell our data to AI companies. We gotta understand, right, that a lot of the ID age verification stuff is for, obviously harvesting data through AI companies. So that is something that is a part of it. And some people might think that they are doing it as a what's called. Kind of lost my train of thought. Some people might think that is a tinfoil theory to believe that, but yeah. DP rounds, I understand there's still people fighting against every single thing. They're taking our privacy away, underdogs. All we can do is pray and hope. No, I mean, if you actually watch the streams or the videos, I always say that you can always contact your senators and representatives. There's plenty we can do other than just hope and pray. I mean, there's plenty we can do. Ace, please stop spamming the same thing, but I'm not only doing lives. It's only been 2 days since I uploaded. Calm down, buddy. People have to clean up the mess. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, we have to do it. You know what I mean? It's up to us to make sure that we are actually going up against these laws. You know what I mean? All we can do is talk to the people who are pushing age verification. Not talk to the people who are pushing age verification. All we can do is make sure that they know that they will lose their position of power if they don't listen to us. I mean, again, like, there's no point in having the doom and gloom attitude of everything sucks and everything's over. If you have that attitude, forget about ID age verification. Anything in your life will seem like it sucks. You know what I mean? You have to get a better attitude. I know it's hard to hear that and then immediately think, oh, I'm gonna snap out of it and then just go ahead and get a better attitude. My point is that if you are constantly negative about everything, then the world will seem like it sucks. You know what I mean? Exactly, Lynn. I agree with that. And guys, also, it doesn't matter if it was only 67 cents. Obviously, I appreciate that he went ahead and donated some of his money, hard-earned money. It doesn't matter the amount, Yeah, it's never over. Remember the people with the keys. Yep, exactly, Sunset. Oh, yeah. I mean, remember, it's all about having a good attitude, man. And that's life in general. But another thing I wanted to show you guys that's related to this is this Julie individual who talks about ID age verification a lot. She is on our side of the argument. She obviously opposes ID age verification, but she was actually kind of disagreeing with the tweet. I mean, yeah, actually kind of disagreeing with the tweet. And she mentioned some points that I thought were good points as well. So this post is saying that big tech, they're basically pointing out that big tech is lobbying for ID age verification, which I do believe, right? There's a lot of companies that are actually paying for ID age verification laws. And she was making the point that big tech has actively been lobbying against Kids Online Safety Act and the Kids Act. Now, if she means every company in big tech, I disagree, because Meta and some other companies that we'll talk about later have been proven to have been lobbying for it, right? But I think she just means in general. The list of 120 plus disclosures includes a mix of conservative think tanks, advocacy groups, civil liberties groups, and organizations that support and oppose the bills. A lobbying disclosure only means someone discussed or monitored the bill, not that they wrote it, right? And yeah, she does make a good point there. But again, if she's saying that no big tech company has been lobbying for age verification, she's wrong, because Meta has. And I know that for a fact. We were one of the people who kind of like broke that story. You know what I mean? The post on Reddit. But, you know, shout out to her. She's obviously really smart, and she always makes good points. But if big tech had drafted these policies, the text would look very different. These bills don't read like they were written by people with technical expertise. They don't reflect the big positions big tech has actively been pushing. I can't read. What the hell? Yeah. But overall, I mean, she makes a good point with the tweet. Just, again, Meta, and there's other companies out there that are going ahead and lobbying for IDH verification, unfortunately. I wish she was right in terms of none of them doing it, but yeah. So here's somebody else that pointed out something here as well, saying, I don't think many of you see what this does. These two passages stipulate that they are rolling out biometric or digital IDs without us even knowing. It's putting in place digital behavioral analysis and face scanning and other biometrics to nail down an age and specific user. So if we go ahead and see something that's written over here, use a technology verification measure in order to verify the age of a user. No. That's something that is very concerning wording. Nothing in this section may be construed to require the submission of government-issued identity of any individual. Yeah, that just doesn't really make any sense. But yeah. So there's a lot of companies that are actually lobbying against IDH verification. Julie is correct on that point. But, you know, specifically Meta, and you guys would be surprised, Grindr, right? Grindr was revealed last year to have been really supporting IDH verification bills. For those guys that don't know what Grindr is, I believe Grindr is a hookup app for LGBTQ individuals, which is really like strange that they would back this type of thing. I guess it's because dating apps typically require some sort of like ID or something. Not really sure why, but yeah, I don't know. It's really strange, like, posts that I've seen. But yeah, apparently they are lobbying for IDH verification. They support the bill. What's it called? Let's see if we can get like a statement from them on that. But yeah, I believe they were specifically lobbying for IDH verification on adult websites, which is, again, kind of ironic because I think Grindr is mostly a hookup app. I don't know. I mean, never been on Grindr, so I don't really know, but I'm gonna assume it's more of a hookup app. Yeah, I've heard that it's more of a hookup app. I don't know, but the point is that it's weird that they were lobbying for IDH verification. Really seems kind of counterintuitive. So another thing that I wanted, dating apps are a goldmine for AI training data. Oh yeah, definitely. So maybe it's them just wanting to collect more data or promote the collection of data. I don't know. But another post from this guy that I found pretty interesting, saying that he tried to track down the real writers of the Kids Act, and as I dig, I found an interesting document. eBay pushed this shown in lobbying disclosure form. They showed the exact financial trail, exact textual trail, and proved they were funneled into HR 7757. Okay, so lobbying income 1.8 million for the quarter. So specific issues they lobbied for: Kids Online Safety Act, Children and Teens Online Privacy Protection Act. So I believe that's COPPA, or yeah, COPPA 2.0. So eBay, I mean, to be honest with you guys, I didn't even know eBay was still around. I thought they got completely destroyed by Amazon. But yeah, so eBay, it was apparently doing it too. They're lobbying for the App Store Accountability Act, which is like essentially IDH verification and facial scans on the App Store. So they spent nearly $2 million in the third quarter of 2025 explicitly lobbying for the exact legislative components that appear in HR 7757. 6 months later, they did not lobby for child safety generally. They lobbied for specific bills such as Kids Online Safety Act, COPPA 2.0, and specific regularity outcomes. Isn't eBay owned by Meta? Is it? Oh my God, if it is, that would explain everything. Is Meta owned, or no, other way around. Is eBay owned by Meta? No way. No, no. Yeah, I don't know. That's not true. But if it was true, that would actually make a lot of sense because Meta is obviously pushing ID age verification. Um, Here's more. Representative Frank Pallone is a ranking member of the Energy and Commerce Committee. Anyone from this group right now, like they are hell bent on trying to like take away our rights. The Energy and Commerce Committee, like their Twitter is just all about ID age verification. So yeah, if you hear anybody from that group right now, likely they want to steal your data. So here's another bill, creates a funding stream and bureaucratic body, whatever. So there's a bunch of people, what's called, that are going ahead and lobbying for this type of stuff. And this guy was able to find a lot of good information about it. He posted a bunch of sources and stuff as well. This guy's doing some pretty good research right now. So if you take a look at some of the documentation he was saying, so he shows a registrant name, eBay over here. So over here we got some stuff as well. Yeah, pretty interesting stuff. So yeah, basically ID age verification is not only being lobbied for by companies, it's being, pushed by obviously politicians. We already know that, but they're pushing it on a federal level this time, which is even worse than on the state level, obviously. So yeah, it's crazy. Bots in this comment section. Which one? Tell me a name. Oh, okay, I see. Richard Stupid Ass. All right, anybody else? So the lobbying of age verification is much more coordinated after than we thought. Yeah. I mean, if you if you followed the videos on the channel, like we've already proven and predicted that this has been a consolidated effort for a very, very long time. But especially now with this whole federal push, yeah. I mean, again, both sides of the aisle, Democrats and Republicans right now, it's bipartisan. They're pushing it together. Again, I make this point a lot in like different live streams and videos, but they can't, both sides of the aisle can't agree on, trying to stop things like, I don't know, world hunger or homelessness and stuff like that, war. But one thing that they can't agree on is ID age verification and stealing away all of our information. That's the one thing that both sides can't agree on. I mean, it's fucking insanity. Age verification been cooking for years. How odd it all started globally very recently. And if you actually watched the debate yesterday with John, he actually mentioned that ID age verification laws have been in the making for like the last 10 years. I believe he mentioned 2015 in the debate that we had yesterday. So that's fucking scary. This whole thing has been going on for a while now. But yeah, back to Julie. She was making some good posts about, trying to go ahead and oppose ID age verification in the sense of just going ahead and like not allowing your child to use social media and teaching people how to do that. It's good that she's doing that because a lot of parents and guardians out there right now are making the excuse of like, oh, but I don't even know how to like stop my kids from using social media. And it's just like, are you fucking serious? Like, first of all, like, you literally pay for the phone and the internet. What do you mean? Like, just take the phone away from them. What are you talking about? And secondly, there's people on the internet posting this type of stuff all the time. So she was talking about the fact that a new Pew Research is crazy. Pew Research study shows that of the participants polled, 56% support a social media ban. It's unclear how much detail was given about what such a ban would entail and what it would mean for every user of social media. But at face value, it sounds like most people, including parents, favor a government mandate to ban kids rather than parental authority banning social media. And I agree with her point. A lot of times when they conduct these polls, they don't actually tell the parents how social media will be banned. And so, when you actually do tell people how social media will be banned, the results for a poll may look very different, right? So I conducted a poll recently that's still going right now. And admittedly, and I mentioned this yesterday in the debate with John, right? Obviously, you guys, my viewers, who obviously I appreciate all you guys, obviously you guys are more on our side of the aisle in terms of ID age verification is bad, right? So obviously a lot of you guys will tend to vote no on this on this poll, right? But look at the wording that I put. Should ID age verification be required to use social media? Out of 3,000 plus votes and counting, 97% of people said no. 97%. I mean, that's insanity, right? I mean, people are retweeting this. This is going beyond my Twitter sphere, which is very small because I'm very irrelevant, right? It's going past my Twitter. It's going on to other people's Twitters and stuff, people who may disagree with us and stuff like that. But still, it's 97% of people saying no, 3% of people saying yes. I mean, it's laughable to me that people try to argue that people support ID age verification if the details are given. If you were to just, like, let's say none of us knew about ID age verification being a thing, right? And you just hear the statement, should kids be on social media if they're under 16? Then obviously, I think a lot of people would probably say no, right? They'd be like, yeah, actually, you know what? Maybe kids shouldn't be on social media. But if you explain to them how that will be enforced, like, okay, so you know how we're going to enforce that though? Like everybody has to hand over an ID. Then all of a sudden the results are going to be very, very skewed. So again, she makes the right point that I'm pretty sure most people wouldn't support ID or a social media ban if they actually knew how it would be enforced. But here's just some of the data here if you guys want to take a look at it. John ended up making that poll. No, he's not going to. He made an excuse that if he makes a poll, then he's going to for sure lose. Like most people will vote no to ID age verification. And that was a point that I was trying to make to him. But he claimed that, and I quote, he wants to do a poll with real people. And so I asked him, so are the people on Twitter not real people? And then he said that there's marginally more supporters of ID age verification on Twitter. And so I said, okay, then do it on Facebook. And then he made an excuse again, saying that then he kind of extended it to like most people on the internet would actually be against ID age verification. So he wants to do a real poll, he says, like where he goes out and asks people and stuff. And the point I made to him yesterday is I said that is a baffling argument because ID age verification is an internet law. It's a law that is about the internet. So therefore, you don't want the opinion of the people on the internet for that poll? What the fuck? That's like asking people like that's like asking like how's the weather like in California, and you ask people in Arizona but you don't ask people in California. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, and then if you guys see what Mike just said in the chat, he said, like he's making a joke about the $15,000. He was saying that like he kept on mentioning that like he wants to do a real poll that would cost $15,000. I assume he's talking about setting it up somehow. But I told him, I was like, brother, a Twitter poll is free. A Facebook poll is free, So I don't know. But I don't know. It's okay. He doesn't seem like a bad guy from our conversation. He actually seemed like, believe it or not, he actually seemed like a nice guy. But one, his Twitter activity is ridiculous, and I called him out for that. And two, a lot of the arguments that he made were even more ridiculous. So, yeah. I mean, I don't know. But anyways, so Julie was saying, it's already legal for you to ban your children from social media. You don't need a government mandate. So she was mentioning things like, don't give your child a smartphone, give them a flip phone, lock down your home internet at the router, which was a point that I was making to John yesterday. Yeah, I agree. He seemed chill, just illogical. Yeah. That's how I saw it, Flitch. But again, his representation of his character was so much more different in a conversation than on Twitter. And I know he made the argument that he's just kind of like a Twitter troll, but it's just like, okay, well, if you want people to take your opinion seriously, you shouldn't troll with every single tweet you make. You know what I mean? Thank you for the $5, Sergeant Ducky. I really appreciate it. Sad news for us gamers. PlayStation is ending physical copies. It's like Domino's made digital pizzas. Yeah, I already made a video on that, dude. That is my most recent video, I believe. You gotta make sure you subscribe. But appreciate the $5, Sergeant Ducky. Thank you. But yes, I agree that is very stupid that they're like PlayStation is trying to remove physical media. Very, very dumb decision of them. I'm going to assume that PlayStation will get massively boycotted for that. But yeah, anyway, so back to what Julie was saying, DNS filtering, if you don't have parental controls on your router, which is essentially almost impossible. Every modern router nowadays will have some type of parental controls. Pretty much every modern router can be programmed to stop your kids from going on certain websites. You can also lock down your kid's laptop or tablet, blah, blah, blah. I mean, this isn't really for us per se, unless there's any parents in the chat. This is mainly for parents who want to monitor what their kids do without the government. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Seen his recent tweet saying the compromise for age verification, the most stupid repost I've ever seen. Yeah. He kind of was taking what I was saying out of context yesterday as well, where he was saying that I agreed to age verification on adult websites. I didn't say I agreed to it. I said, okay, so when you're doing a debate, right, and you're arguing in good faith, you want to try to come to with a middle ground with someone, right? So you guys can kind of at least agree on something. So the point I was making to him is, if you could guarantee, like for example, like all the politicians right now are gung-ho on age verification, so it's not going to go away, right? All we can do is minimize it, but it's not going to go away. The point I was trying to make to him is, if you guys insist on doing age verification on something, right, you're not going to listen to us and do it on nothing. If you're going to do it on something, I would rather you do it on the adult websites and the social media. Obviously I'd rather not have any ID age verification, but if you're going to make me pick, I would rather have the ID verification on adult websites. That's what I was trying to say, but he made it seem like I was for ID age verification on adult websites, period, which is absolutely not true. Thank you for the 10 gifted, Blue. Really appreciate it. Yeah, thank you so much, Blue. You are the best, man. Blue is currently, something busy at the fireworks stand. Hope you get a lot of business tonight, man. Thank you for the $2 mission siloed. Screw gaming, learn music or art. Okay, yeah. I totally disagree with you. How about we let people enjoy what they want to enjoy? You know what I mean? Like, you should do whatever you want, and as long as you're not hurting anybody, right? There's nothing wrong with gaming, but just like anything, obviously you don't want to get like, game for 18 hours a day or anything, but no. But regardless, appreciate the $2. I think that ID age verification should only be used for explicit content. But the problem with that, Jude, is that it's a slippery slope. If you allow it even for explicit content, like an adult website, it starts to spread into everything else. That is literally what happened, right? That is exactly what happened. This modern push for ID age verification started with the Kids Online Safety Act in the UK 2023, which was supposed to be ID age verification for adult websites. And now it has turned into ID age verification for every single social media, Spotify, everything. Now we have to do ID age verification to breathe. So that's the issue. Yeah, pretty much sharpest tool in the shed, exactly. He's also saying, man, yes, Ray. So that was another thing that, happened in the debate yesterday. And again, I know he's like a political person, so maybe he, sees politics in more of like rose-tinted glasses or whatever. But for me, I actually don't like to talk about politics at all. So yesterday during the ID age verification debate, he started bringing up other things about politics, and I had to cut him off and say like, hey, listen, dude, this is not a political stream. I need you to focus on what we're talking about, right? We're talking about ID age verification. Let's talk about ID age verification. You know what I mean? So that was one of the things that was becoming an issue during the debate. But overall, I honestly really, like I said at the end of the stream last night, I actually thought it went pretty well. I actually thought we both did try to at least listen to each other's points. We didn't really agree with each other, but at least we tried to listen. And that's what it comes down to, right? Civil discourse, good dialogue. That's really all I want. But yeah. Sadly, it will be expanded, but it wouldn't be worse if that was done. It would be the worst if that was done. Yeah, I mean, but we can try to stop it from expanding, right? That's the point. So I really just want there to be civil discourse, even with the people who disagree with us. But to be honest, it was tough for me to find any middle ground with him because, again, just the things that he was proposing, I just find so ridiculous. Thank you for the $2 super boop. Appreciate it. This is all my money. It's okay, man. No, you don't have to donate. Nobody has to donate. I appreciate everybody liking and subscribing. That's already a big deal to me. Please make sure you're subscribed because YouTube doesn't really push out my videos as much anymore. So I'd really appreciate it if you guys would subscribe. But thank you so much for the $2. Thank you for the $5 mission silo. How will content creators and work from home be affected if ID verification passes? Oh, it'd be affected massively. It would absolutely destroy content creation in terms of like, okay, it won't destroy it in the sense that it won't exist anymore, but it will destroy it in the sense that every content creator globally will make less money because less people will use the internet in general if ID age verification becomes mandated for social media. That is a fact, right? I don't know by how much, but yeah, ID age verification will really hurt content creators. Thank you for the $5 mission silo. Really appreciate it. Let's get some W's for him. Because even you guys right now, right? Like if they get their wish and eventually this turns into an ID age verification thing for social media across the country, to even watch the stream right now, or to watch, your favorite Twitch stream or whatever, you guys would have to hand over an ID first. Would you be willing to do that? You know, probably not, right? Which means that you guys wouldn't be watching this stream. You guys wouldn't be watching your favorite content creators on Twitch or whoever. And that means that everyone in general will get less views. If we're full-time content creators, I'm not. I mean, I don't make enough from YouTube to be a full-time content creator. I'm just grateful that I can even make any money from YouTube to begin with. But I do have a real job, right? So I have a real job, and then I do YouTube, just for fun. But some people do YouTube as their full-time job, right? So they are looking at their analytics month by month, week by week, right? And if IDH verification becomes a thing, their week by week and month by month revenue will be much lower, which means that they might not be able to pay their bills like how they used to, which means that they'll stop. Oh my God, I can't talk. They will have to stop doing YouTube and start to look towards real employment. And all of a sudden, yeah, it's going to be a huge issue. So essentially, content creation would be very, very damaged from IDH verification. Kind of a long yapping session for an answer, but yeah. Yeah, I'm not giving my idea on anything. And yeah, that would be, I think most people would agree with that, What's up, Ghost Text? Thank you for the $10. Really appreciate it. Sub DHHR 6028. May also be dicey for creators. It's supposed to bring the Copyright Office directly under president appointment. Something is good for right to repair, but it would politicize the USCO. Yeah, I'd have to look into that. I don't know too much about that, Ghost Text, but I appreciate you letting me know. Thank you so much for the $10, dude. Thank you for the $1 super poop. It's okay, man. You don't have to donate, buddy. But I really appreciate you guys. Thank you guys so much. Had one more dollar. Really appreciate it, man. Thank you. Thank you. People should talk about this more, to be honest. Yeah, I totally agree. It really, annoys isn't the right word. It's more like disappointing. I'm disappointed that more content creators aren't talking about IDH verification. Again, they don't have to pump out video after video like myself and some other people do, like that are trying to keep up with this subject and keep you guys informed and stuff like that. But they could at least talk about the big stuff, right? I was very disappointed at the lack of big content creators that didn't talk about the the Kids Act getting passed in the House. That's a big deal. That's a really, really big deal. Now, does that, again, as I've said a million times, does that mean that it's over and we're screwed? No, it still has to pass the Senate. It still has to get signed into law by, the president. But that's still that's a big deal, man. That is a really big deal that this horrible IDH verification, mass surveillance, draconian law is starting to make it through our Congress. You know what I mean? Critical should have been all over the Kids Act. I agree, but Critical has made videos about age verification, and also to be honest, like I like him a lot, so I just immediately assume he has some sort of good reason for not talking about it. Maybe he just hasn't heard about it or whatever. But yes, I do agree that he should be making videos about it. Dan TDM kind of talked about it somewhere. I think he just made some tweets about it. He didn't talk about like the laws. I know what you're talking about. But I don't think he made like an official video about IDH verification. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong. And that's my point, that it's a really big issue, and big content creators really need to start talking about it before it's too late. Because what's going to happen if those federal laws do get passed? Then everyone's going to be making their videos like, oh, what the hell, man? IDH verification to do social media, that's crazy. Hello, you could have helped us stop it. You could have helped us stop it. Like, it's weird to complain about a law getting passed, but not do anything about it before it got passed. Does that make sense? So that's crazy. Love Charlie, but he's made a lot of videos about the same thing in the past. He could make another video about age verification. Yeah, I'm hoping he does, Lynn. I'm really hoping he does. Again, people keep asking me to ask him to do it, because people think that me and him are friends, because obviously he made a video in my defense one time. We don't have any direct form of contact. Like, obviously I like him a lot. I'm a fan of his, and I've been a fan of his for many years, and he helped me out one time. Okay, let's just take a poll. I guess it's been a while since I've talked about this. Who here knows about, the video that Critical made in my defense? Type a 1 if you know about it. Type a 2 if you don't know about it. Let's just get a head count here. This happened in September 2024. It was a whole drama thing that happened where essentially another user was trying to like take my channel name and art and stuff like that. Okay, wow, a lot of you guys don't know about that. Okay, well, basically, Critical and I, again, we're not friends, as in we're like buddies that talk every day, but we're cordial. We've been on speaking terms. I've talked to him through his live stream chat and stuff like that. He made a video in my defense. He's actually shouted me out in two videos. This one and another video about AI old people. He actually mentioned that he saw my video on the topic. So basically, we like he knows me, even though I'm irrelevant and nobody. He knows me. And so because, we have that form of contact, people have been asking me to ask him to make videos about ID age verification, which again, I believe he should do. But just to clarify, we're not, I'm not going to act like we're buddies or friends, to try to win cool points. Oh, Critical, I talk to him every week. No, I don't. We've never spoken in an actual voice chat or anything. I have no point of contact with him. If I did, if we were friends and if I had his Discord or something, I would 100% say, yo, Mr. Charles, how you doing, buddy? We could really use your help over here. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I don't know. I would 100% tell him, but, yeah. Chibi reviews is cool, but he's a little too... Yeah, to be honest, he seems like there's a lot of drama that surrounds him. I don't really want to be around someone like that. You could always tweet at him. Sure, okay, well, if you actually know Gus, Critical doesn't use Twitter. Did you check that before you typed that comment? Critical does not use Twitter. He's been off Twitter for a very long time. But yeah. Trust me, if I had a point of contact with him, I would. In fact, people who have been in the stream can vouch for me when I say this. People in the stream asked me to type in his comments the other day to get him to talk about this, and I did. Type a 1 if you remember that. That already happens. People in the stream while Critical was streaming asked me to go in his comments and talk to him, and I tried, but he was playing a video game and he didn't see it. So it's not like I haven't tried. You know what I mean? Thank you for the $2, Duck. Appreciate it. Hi again. Also, won't this affect game development? ID age verification? Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, there are games out there that are gonna have ID age verification. You know what I mean? But anyways, my point is that I've tried, and I'm not going to sit here and like harass Critical, every single stream. Hey, talk about this. I'm not going to do that. You know what I mean? Eventually, I'm sure he'll hear about it through the grapevine, whatever. Yeah. I found your channel during the whole situation from another YouTuber talking about it, not from Critical. Really? Whose channel did you see it through, Superboot? Why are people not against this? Because a lot of people think that this is gonna like really help kids or save kids or whatever. Like, I don't know. The people actually think that ID age verification will be helpful for children. But again, Schlepp is a big example. Schlepp, who has been in the chat for the last few streams as well. He himself has said that Roblox age verification actually made the platform more unsafe than before. And he said that because he was finding accounts that were... Because basically in Roblox, if you don't verify your age, they just put you in the lowest age bracket, which means that you can talk to like other 9-year-olds or whatever, or other 12-year-olds. That is fucking wild. So they just assume that you're a child, and even if you're a grown adult, they just allow you to talk to like the other kids or whatever. I don't know. It's something like that. Obviously, I don't know a lot of details about Roblox, but point is that Roblox is just such a dog shit website, and they are one of the most dangerous websites for kids. I mean, it's crazy. DuckDuckGo is a scam to me? Really? Why do you say that? Most people aren't informed. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, most people don't even know about this. And this is, again, another point that I've made in a lot of videos and streams. A lot of people don't even know about this because there's so much going on in the world right now. I mean, we're talking, there are potential world wars going on. There's a certain political candidate who has something very interesting to say every day that gets covered to death. There's a lot of stuff that's going on in the world right now. World Cup is going on right now. It's just, this is very low on people's priority list, right? But again, the issue is, I fucking guarantee you, if this ends up getting passed in the Senate and Trump signs off on it, then everyone, all the Markipliers and all them, then they're going to be making their videos and they're going to put the dramatic title and they're going to put their face in the thumbnail. we need to talk about this. This is important. And they're going to talk about IDH verification and how it's bad for kids. But excuse me, guys, when it was fucking happening, you guys didn't make your videos. And again, I'm not trying to call out Markiplier or anyone in particular. It just really annoys me when there's a potentially bad situation that can be stopped. And that is getting a lot of coverage and getting talked about to death. But people only care after the law has already been passed. Type of 1 if you agree, type of 2 if you disagree. I mean, this should be a very, unanimous thing, because at the end of the day, you can only stop something really before it happens. Yes, you can try to change it later, but it'll be way harder. You know what I mean? I don't know. Okay, I'm glad, I appreciate you guys. You guys already know I love you guys. I appreciate the support. But at the end of the day, it really annoys me when there's like a law that can be fought and then people know about it. So for example, right, Jacksepticeye, who I think is in all accounts a very nice guy. He seems like a good guy, right? Jacksepticeye has included like a little 5-minute segment in one of his videos where he was kind of just ranting about stuff. And he actually did talk about IDH verification. It was something that I made a video on and I gave him his full credit for it, right? But he's somebody who knows about the situation right now, right? Here, let me try to find the video. But I made a video of him talking about it and I gave him his full credit. He needs to do it again. He needs to make a dedicated video. He needs to tell other people about it. He needs to tell his friends Markiplier about it. He needs to tell other content creators, because again, this shit is going to get covered to death even more after the law gets passed, if it does. Obviously, time will tell. I don't think it'll make it past the Senate, but you guys understand what I'm saying. Hypothetical situation. Spread the word, man. Spread the word. You know what I mean? I don't know. I agree, but also they can be trying to get a new generation of politicians as well, even though I don't think it's foolish to make. Yeah, I don't know. People will talk about this more later. Yeah, I guess. But again, that's the issue, that we don't need people to talk about it later. We need people to talk about it right now before it's too late. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I don't know. Need more big creators to talk about ID verification. Most people probably have no idea of any of this happening. Exactly, yeah. I mean, a lot of people, I guess, again, are just not informed properly about it. PewDiePie just mentioned in passing. See, but again, that's the type of thing that I'm talking about. I'm glad that he mentioned it to begin with. That's good, right? But we don't need a mention of this. We need a dedicated video from a bigger okay, look, I always say I don't have that type of YouTube ego. I am irrelevant. You guys hear me say that almost every fucking stream. I am irrelevant. I don't have that type of push. I fully admit that, right? I never think I was a big shot. In fact, I think I'm quite the opposite, right? I don't have that type of push in that reach, right? But the people that we're talking about do. Jacksepticeye, PewDiePie, those types of people, they do. So they need to use their platform to help us stop this type of shit. Otherwise, it's going to be too late. And that, I'm not going to lie, that frustrates me, because there are people out there. If you didn't even know about it, right? If you didn't even know about it, then I'll give you a pass in a sense, because you didn't even know, right? You didn't know IDH verification was becoming a thing. You didn't know that it was, such a problematic thing that we could have stopped. But I also have another question right now, right? How do you not know about it if you use the internet, right? It is a big topic, right? Yes, it may not be as big as World War III potentially happening or the World Cup, and I fully accept that, right? But IDH verification is a big topic that is discussed daily on pretty much every platform out there. So come on, man. We need bigger people to step in. I don't always see, I don't always see eye to eye with some ordinary gamers, but I got to give him huge credit, because he has made video after video on this thing. There's only one thing that he did that I didn't like, was when that one time he made that tweet where he said that he feels like this fight is lost. So then I tweeted at him and I said that it's a shame that someone of a platform of your size is, doing all this quitter talk. Don't be doing that quitter talk. Come on, man. It ain't over. Like, it's not over. Let's fucking do something about it. You know what I mean? He's very doom and gloom. Yeah, I mean, but I still gotta give him his props for at least making the videos, because he is spreading the word. Muda has made a lot of videos about IDH verification, right? I'm just mentioning the one time where I felt like he had that really doomer attitude. Okay, everybody, if you could do me a favor, look at what Drink Demighty just said in chat, because I totally agree. If we keep saying, quote, it's over, eventually it will be over. Yes, exactly. That is what I've been preaching since day one. Don't fucking give up, man, because if you guys give up, it's over. It really will be over. It'll be like those dumbass commentary channels where they say that everything is over and the career is finished and it's done. It would be like a more Pegasus video. You know what I mean? It's not fucking over, but it will be over if everybody gives up, you know? And it will especially be over if these bigger content creators don't get off their lazy asses and start helping us out with this situation. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, man. I know I'm kind of going on a little bit of a rant here, but hopefully most of you guys are hearing what I'm saying and understanding my point. And even if you disagree, hopefully you at least understand where I'm coming from, because, you know, one thing I will give John credit for, you know, in our debate yesterday, is he seems passionate about the situation, and I'll give him credit for that. And as you guys heard him say about me, and he's right, I'm damn sure passionate about this, man. This is about online privacy and freedom for everybody in the world. Fuck yeah, I'm passionate about this. I really, really want people to stop treating this like it's not that big of a deal, because it really is, you know. But yeah, I don't know, man. Hopefully you guys understand where I'm coming from. I think most of you guys do, because you guys are very smart. Be passionate about it, just about the word. Exactly, sus and gender. That's really all I'm saying. And again, for the people who do know about it, Jacksepticeye, PewDiePie, or anybody else who has briefly mentioned it or mentioned it in detail, come on, man. You guys have big channels. I don't want to hear no Twitter talk. I don't want to hear no this or that. You know, I just want to make sure people know that this is a fucking big deal. You know what I mean? Your rant is valid. Thank you, Arctic One. Don't apologize for ranting to us. We want to be... Yeah, exactly. Tired of people thinking that setting up parental control is extremely difficult. Yeah, I mean, John literally said that. Not he didn't say extremely difficult, but he said that. He said that, like, we shouldn't rely on parents to be super tech savvy to set up parental controls. What? Do we need to do it live right now? How to stop your kid from going to certain websites? We can look it up live right now. I bet we could do this shit in like a few minutes, you know? Here's an entire list of websites to block for kids, and it's going to be a bunch of inappropriate websites. 65 plus inappropriate websites. Here you go. A bunch of adult websites, all that type of stuff, chat rooms, whatever. And it gives you a step-by-step guide on exactly how to do it. 10 minutes on this page and you'd be able to do it. But hey, tech savvy. Yeah, apparently you need to be fucking, I don't know, Isaac Newton discovering the laws of gravity. You need to have that level of intelligence, according to these guys. Bro can't press a few buttons even with step-by-step. Exactly, dude. I don't know. It's just crazy to me. Just Google how to set up parental controls. Exactly, yeah. But I was using like something more layman's drink there, because again, John's going to argue that, oh, but parents don't even know about parental controls. So I literally Googled how to stop your kid from seeing, you know what I mean? Like I can even put it in layman's terms too, if that's what's necessary. It's just, I don't know, man. That's what I think we should do, you know? And he even briefly asked me about this, where he said, like, what would you do then instead of IDH verification? I was like, well, dude, I would make it so when you access a social media like Discord, for example, like it essentially forces you to like go through some parental controls, and like you can, like, if you're a parent making an account, you can just link your account with your kid, right? Make your accounts connected so you can see the messages they see. You can see if they get sent images. You can see what servers they go to, stuff like that, right? I would rather that than IDH verification. You know, call it helicopter parenting or whatever, but I would rather some kids get some helicopter parenting as opposed to all of us getting fucked. So, yeah, I mean, maybe some kids out there will have to suffer with their parents breathing down their necks, but honestly, hey, man, you guys are gonna have to take a little sacrifice for us, because you know what the alternative is? Let me show you what the alternative is. Right here. This is the alternative. Data leak after data leak after data leak. I don't know. I mean, this is what we're looking at, right? I mean, again, look at how many videos I have by data leaks. Look at the date of the videos. Notice how none of them say 5 years ago. Notice how none of them even say 2 years ago. They're all within like the last 6, 7, 8 months, you know? And that's the problem. You know, if anything, I actually don't even see a video I've made on a data leak that's past 8 months. So literally within the last 8 months or so. Look at how many data leaks there have been. That is terrifying. So, yeah. What's up, Sabao? How'd your debate with John go yesterday? You know what, Sabao? I'm not even gonna answer it because I'm gonna be biased. Can everybody in chat let me know how you thought the debate went with John? I'll let them answer for you, Sabao. Monitoring your kids on the internet is different from watching your kids. Debate. Okay, here you go, Sabao. I'll read some stuff for you. Debate was peak. It went splendid. He got cooked. Humor cooked him. W debate destroyed him. Very good. John lost. Yeah. So I mean, I'll let the people speak because I'm not gonna. I mean, obviously, I think I got the better of him, but you know, I'm me. So, and I've never been a debater or anything. I'm an idiot. I'm not good at debating, but I would not have asked him for a conversation if I wasn't confident that I could win. You know, because every talking point that he told me. Deep Humor was like Gogeta against Enema. Yes, Anime Abraham, dude, you're promoted. You're getting a promotion. That's what I like to hear. But every talking point that he said to me about IDH verification, I've heard it like 1,000 times. So I knew how to counter everything that he said because I had already heard it before. If we were having a debate about random political bullshit like how he wanted to do, he probably would have kicked my ass because I don't even know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? I'm dumb. But in this specific issue, I was like, yeah, I mean, yeah. I even at the end, I even told him, hey, do you have any questions for me? And all he said was, I had 2 questions, but you kind of already answered them. Like, I even opened the floor to him, but he didn't really have anything to say to, like, challenge what I told him. But again, you know, I don't want this to come off as me shitting on him. I do have to give him credit. The guy came on, you know what I mean? He came on, he had a conversation, he was fairly cordial, everything was cool. I mean, he really... It was a pleasant conversation, to be honest. Yes, did we get a little heated at moments? Of course. I mean, that if you're passionate about something, then that makes sense, right? But overall, he seemed like a much nicer guy than he comes off on Twitter, because on Twitter, and I said this to him to his face, like, he seems like such a douche on Twitter. Like, he's so mean. Like, he makes personal attacks at people all the time. He claims that, you know, everyone who disagrees with him, he always says they're jerking off to, like, violent fetish videos and stuff. Like, he seems, like, very aloof and, like, abrasive on Twitter. But then when he came on the call, he was actually fairly pleasant, you know? So it's really weird. He removed the AI slot profile pic? I guess, yeah, I don't know. I mean, he had it yesterday and he got rid of it, you know? So I don't know what that's all about, but regardless, I mean, we had a good conversation. I would say we had a good conversation. But yeah. The debate wasn't even a debate. I even showed my mom the debate and she said it wasn't even a debate. This deep humor guy dominated. Yeah, and I wasn't even trying to like dominate per se, as in like I'm gonna go and interrupt him every 5 seconds or like, you know, whatever, all that type of stuff. I really, you know, again, if you were to take out a timer and time it, I'm pretty sure he actually talked more than me. Like I let him, like there was like a few moments where he went on like 2 or 3 minute soliloquies where he just gave a monologue and I'd let him say everything he had to say. And then I would start talking and then 10 words in and you would interrupt me. John interrupted the fuck out of it. Yeah, I mean, he did, but it's okay. I mean, I'll excuse it and say I guess he's just passionate or whatever. I mean, do I think his arguments are ridiculous? Yes, but I don't want to be a douchebag. You know what I mean? I don't have anything personally against him. I just think that he's a fool, to be honest. Like in terms of his policy and his beliefs. But personally, he seems all right. On Twitter, I act like a literal angel most of the time nowadays. Well, here's your counterpart right here, the devil. But again, nothing personal. Just he's aware of it. He's self-aware that he's a bit of a troll on Twitter. I mean, he leans into it. His banner is literally. Let me show you his banner. I said this during the debate too. The response from all corners was swift. Schweppy's tweet became an equal opportunity dunk fest, ratioed and roasted. So he leans into it. It's not like he's oblivious. You know, he understands that he gets ratioed every day. What I was trying to make a point to him was like, if you do get ratioed every day, maybe you might want to reconsider some of your beliefs. You know what I mean? But yeah. John is a huge rapper than you, or bigger rapper than you, I think you meant to say. Or yapper, sorry. Yeah. John kind of cooked himself since he decided to go on when he knew he was doing a debate. Oh, on a walk? Yeah. That was, again, I mean, I don't blame him if he was like nervous or whatever. I even said it during the stream. I was slightly nervous too, because again, I'm not a debater or anything. I wasn't nervous though, because I'm like afraid of getting cooked or roasted or whatever. Like that, if that happens, that's fine. I just don't care. I don't have like an ego about shit like that. I acknowledge that I'm a dumbass. What I was nervous about is I am representing, in my opinion, a very important side of the debate, which is the side of privacy and freedom. You know what I mean? So I wanted to make sure I represented our side properly. That's why I felt a little nervous. You know what I mean? I wanted to make sure that the talking points that we say was represented well, and obviously that's up to the people on whether it was, but I think I did a decent job, not perfect, but decent. Thank you for the $10 GG. Really appreciate it. Playing Helldivers right now. Want to hop on. Also still waiting for the that one game you were talking about. Unfortunately, I don't have Helldivers, my friend, but thank you so much for the $10. Really appreciate it. Hope you're having fun playing. What's up, Ralph? Do you think any progress is made from the debate? It really depends on what you consider progress, Zarian. I think that he walked away from that knowing that not everybody on our side is as crazy as he thinks, because he mentioned multiple times during the debate that he actually thinks that most of us are like nuts. Like anime profile picture having, violent fetish video fapping to people that like are just doing this to like be edgy or whatever. But like he said, during the debate that what's called, again, these are his words, not mine. I disagree with him. I think I'm pretty stupid, but he was saying that like I was like one of the better people he's like debated on this topic, and that I was like very knowledgeable about what I was talking about. And again, that doesn't mean I'm some sort of scholar or anything. I mean, I've looked into this situation. I've made a lot of videos about the situation, and the videos weren't me saying, oh, age verification is bad, and then I talk about how bad it is. No, every time it was some sort of new story that happened with ID age verification. You know what I mean? So that, doing all of that research and reading all those articles, obviously I know a little bit about the topic. You know what I mean? Should have chosen option B. Exactly, Zach. If you don't know what Zach is referring to, yesterday in the conversation I asked John a very simple question. What would you have out of these two options? Option A, ID age verification for everybody on social media, or option B, teach the parents how to use parental controls and make it so, they're monitoring their kids properly. And he picked option A. Insanity. I mean, that is insane, right? Like, objectively, that's insane. It wasn't like, hey, I'd prefer to do both, or hey, I think the parental controls are important. I would pick option A. He said without question option A, and I was like, what? That's crazy. So he picked the mass surveillance option, which again is just wild. Exactly, Flynn. We actually did that. Like, what was that? Like 20 minutes ago, guys. Answer a simple yes or no question. Like there was yes, and that was another point, right? And again, he could have done the same thing to me if he wanted to. I would have answered any yes or no question he would have gave me, because it's a yes or no question. You know what I mean? I would have answered it. I was asking him very simple yes or no questions, and then it would start to turn into like a soliloquy about something that's completely irrelevant. And I was just like, again, I was trying to be polite, but I was like, hey, John, like option A or option B. You know what I mean? What was his reasoning for it? His reasoning is that he believes ID age verification will help kids. I mean, obviously that's his side of the argument, right? He would say one thing, then he would play a new reverse card on another thing. Yeah, pretty much. I would agree with that. It's never that simple for people like him. Yeah. Deep, do you think he'd be good in politics? No. First of all, I don't want to be in politics because, again, this is kind of a tinfoil thing, but I think to be in politics, there is some aspect of like selling your soul. And I don't mean in a literal sense, like you go wear a goat hat and go party with the Illuminati. I mean in the sense that you have to compromise on your morals and ethics to make it further up on the political system. And that's just something I'm not going to do. I am doing what I do best. Being an idiot, making YouTube videos and streams, and hanging out with, the beautiful community that we've created, right? I'm still baffled and shocked that somebody as stupid as me has been able to create a community like this. And I appreciate you guys so much, you know what I mean? So I would rather just focus on that and my real job and my family and my friends and stuff like that. My relationships, like that's more important to me. I don't want to be no goddamn politician, you know what I mean? 241,000 241,000 7K soon, or 700 soon. Maybe. If you guys aren't subscribed, please be sure to subscribe and notifications on. I'd really appreciate that. Not even close to done. You got to give yourself more credit. Yeah. I mean, I'm a realist, though. I'm a realist. I acknowledge my flaws, which I have many of, you know. But I appreciate you guys' support. Correct. There's a lot of back scratching saying no is ironically the mark of a good rep. Yeah. I think that politics is a very corrupt game, and to even get into that game, to press start on your figurative controller to play that game, you're gonna have to do a lot of cheating. You're gonna have to pull out those cheat codes and do a lot of cheating to get up on the political system. So again, people can say that's some tinfoil shit, but that's just what I believe. Thank you, Spin Dash. Appreciate that. Fellow Sonic fan. So Congress is secretly run by lizard people. Wouldn't be surprised, man. Thank you, Darby. I don't see the Senate voting on the Kids Act as the Senate sees it as weak due to the... Yeah, we talked about that. Maybe Fost. I agree with you. I assume that Senate will shoot down this law and not pass it. But again, it's for the reason that you said, which is actually not a good reason. That they are going to argue that this law isn't strict enough. That is terrifying, you know. So I don't know if they're going to like try to rewrite it and pass it through the House and the Senate again. But I hopefully after the Senate kills it, hopefully they give up. But I don't think that they will. I think they're going to keep trying to push it. Mass email companies, it's better to contact senators. Also organize a mass outcry on social media. Well, I mean, we're kind of trying to organize a mass outcry on social media, but like we were talking about like 10-15 minutes ago, I'm really frustrated with a lot of the bigger YouTubers in the world right now because they aren't making videos about this situation. We're talking about the Markipliers, we're talking about the Jacksepticeye, stuff like that. Again, I'll give Jack credit. He did at least do a little 5-minute segment on age verification in one of his videos in like the last few months or so, but that's not enough. We need dedicated videos of... You don't even have to do anything simple or anything crazy. Just make a 10-minute video of you talking about it and just go ahead and say, listen, we need to contact our senators. If this law passes, that'll be a really big deal. Critical talked about it? Yes, he did. And I've already given him credit for that. But I'm talking about now. This law has passed the House. Like, we need videos right now. You know, we really need to make our voices heard right now. You know what I mean? Mr. Beast should talk about this? No, he won't. Mr. Beast doesn't ever talk about controversial stuff like that. I could DM him and ask him, though. Apparently, you know, we've had some conversations. I'm just kidding. He doesn't give a shit about me. I told you guys that story, right? I'm pretty sure I already told you guys that story, but I accidentally leaked Mr. Beast's Team Water project. Because we had a few conversations, and then he DM'd me like a few weeks before he did the Team Water thing. It wasn't just me; he DM'd like so many different people. But I didn't realize that in his link that he sent me, it specifically said like, "Don't talk about this until this month." And then like literally the next day, I was trying to help him out. Actually, I said, "Yeah, you know, Mr. Beast is doing this charity thing. It sounds like it'll be pretty good." And then I realized that he didn't want me to talk about it until later. I was like, "Oh shit." Who would Mr. Beast influence anyways? The children getting banned from media and internet? Yeah, true. I mean, his audience is obviously younger, so it wouldn't really help much. Contacted both my senators twice, even putting the link to Hannibal 999's Twitter posts. Yeah. I mean, do whatever you can. I mean, this senators is important to talk about this, you know, because obviously it's already gotten past the House. You're fricked if you're ever in an NDA? Well, yeah, no. I mean, I don't even think I'll ever sign an NDA. PewDiePie, Mr. Beast, really anyone who's on YouTube could get the AI verification, age verification info far because yeah, I agree. I mean, somebody in chat, I haven't verified it, but somebody in chat earlier said that PewDiePie's briefly mentioned age verification in one of his videos. If that is true, even though I appreciate that he mentioned it, We don't need a brief mention of age verification. We need dedicated videos saying, hey, this law just passed the House. This will be really bad if this gets past the Senate and gets signed into law, because it would mean that we're going to be opening the Trojan horse for mass surveillance across the entire internet. If you guys could do me a favor, go to this link over here. This will be a link to contact your local senators in your area. Make sure you guys go ahead and tell them that you're against this. Simple. Very, very simple. If the bigger YouTubers could just do that, and even if they need help, like if they need help from someone like me, who's dumb, but who knows about the situation, I'm open to help them. You know what I mean? But again, it just seems like people don't care enough. And then when the law, hopefully it's if, not when, but if the law ends up getting passed, then everyone's going to be like, oh my God, this is so bad. I can't believe we're losing our freedom. Yeah, well, fucking, if only you guys had helped us when it mattered, Been contacting my senators twice every day in the morning, and it doesn't take that long. Yeah, I mean, again, I appreciate everybody here who's doing their part, Obviously, I've done it, and we're all doing it, and I mean, I don't know. People don't care about it because it doesn't directly affect us and our window of tolerance is widened. Well, I disagree. It definitely directly affects all of us, but I agree with your point about people caring less and less about issues because there's so much news shoved down our throats nowadays. But no, it will directly affect all of us. Human rights revolution is bound to happen. True, but we got to make it happen. You know what I mean? The government passing the bill for mandatory age verification might be a sign that idiocracy is becoming a reality. True. That's why we got to work together to stop it, It doesn't affect me yet, so I don't care yet. Yeah, true. Very true, Lynn. Reason that nobody's talking about it is because media isn't talking about it. I disagree. I think it gets covered very widely on Twitter. We've made a video about Fox News talking about it. It does get talked about, but the difference is mainstream media supports it. It is something that they do talk about, though. I've seen mainstream media talking about this quite a lot, but they're actually on the side of the IDH verification. It would be great if the media would talk about it in talking about the mass surveillance privacy issues, but they don't. Fox is not a reliable source. I never said it was. Let's make sure we're listening. I never said it was a reliable source. I said it was an example of mainstream media. In fact, if you actually watch the video, I shit on Fox News for doing that segment. Take a look at this video over here. I reacted to a Fox News segment where they were going in and supporting IDH verification, and I shit on them for doing it. And also, they tried to copyright claim my video for doing that. Yeah. Government passing the bill for mandatory. Yeah. What's up, Swag Muffin? How you doing? YouTube is very stupid to remove dislikes on shorts. True. Yeah. But YouTube is trying to be TikTok and Instagram. That's why they do it. It's so funny that they try to compete with companies that they are better than and that they are like they're more successful than. It's really weird. The Fox poll won with yes. Why I don't agree with the Aussie social media ban. Again, I think it's one that they don't accurately represent how the IDH verification will happen through the use of IDs and AI facial scans. And two, no offense, but most people who watch Fox News are like older. They don't understand anything about the internet. So they hear kids getting banned from social media. They're like, yeah, I support that. Kids shouldn't be on that internet stuff. But then they don't realize that it's going to be everybody having to submit an ID for it to actually be properly enforced. You know what I mean? YouTube also puts videos for comments where it's down. The reason why it's not talked about by large content creators like Markiplier is because they're afraid of losing ad revenue. Yeah, I agree with that. I think that a lot of people are not doing it because they understand that it would like be a controversial subject. But yeah, I don't know. Best way to stop it is email your state reps, guys. Email them in whichever state you're in. Yep, that's what I've been saying since day one. Agreed. Older people don't know the internet. Agreed. And unfortunately, most people in politics are old. Again, obviously nothing, no offense to older people. I'm not trying to be ageist or whatever. I'm just saying that you probably shouldn't be in politics if you're above like 65, 70, 80 years old and you don't understand how the internet or the modern world works. You know what I mean? Yeah, email or call. Yeah, either works. Whatever you got to do. Thank you, Durduced. I appreciate that, dude. Thank you for watching. Appreciate every single one of you guys that are watching. Everybody in the chat. Everybody who's chatting actively. Sunset. Jinsu Kits. Art Iguana. Drink the Mighty. Pikachu. Homie the Archivist. Appreciate everybody. TK, my man. Sledger. Appreciate you guys. Lynn. Edgar. Thank you, Durduced. Thank you, Birds Light. Appreciate everybody for being here. Thank you, Thomas. The guy you talked to, I watched a little of. You can tell he was BSing about what he meant when he did all the posts on Twitter. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's hard to tell what he was being sincere on, but he could make the same argument about me. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's hard to tell. Thank you, Sprite. Or Schlep? I don't know. But he's been coming to the streams recently. You know, the Obi-Wan hand wave verification method mentioned the other day sounds a lot like Google's new reCAPTCHA method. You mean yesterday? Yeah. Yeah, I can see that as a form of age verification because what's it called? When you wave your hand, like it's going to show your fingerprints and stuff. And we all know like forensics, you know, FBI, when they go like investigate people for crimes, they're looking for fingerprints. You can tell so much information about somebody through their fingerprint. Like you can identify them to a T almost, you know. Again, I'm not some sort of forensics expert or anything, but there's a reason why investigators always screen for fingerprints and stuff. So I would imagine that that would also be very dangerous, you know. Thank you, Super Boop. I appreciate that. What if there was a walkout against the Kids Act from school, work, etc.? That probably wouldn't work because, again, it's not affecting the politician's bottom line. You got to try to, like, you know, give them an ultimatum. Like, if you support ID age verification, if you support the Kids Act, then I will be voting for your competition. You know, something like that. I honestly think that's the best way to do it. Because politicians and, you know, companies and stuff, they only care about, you know, money, power, and influence. So if you threaten to take that away from them, that's when they'll probably listen. I hope, you know what I mean? How's it going in Australia right now? Awful. That was actually something that we referenced to him. In fact, maybe I can find it. Australia. Yeah, okay, here you go. So we saw some official statistics for this as well on a website. This tweet is just pulling from it. 85% of Australians under 16 are still using social media after the ban. Adults lost to anonymity, children lost VPN, surveillance infrastructure built. If it's clear the bans don't work, why are so many countries pushing them right now? Australia's social media ban failed, and Australia went ahead and responded to it. You know, some of their representatives responded to it, and now they're talking about banning VPNs. So, yeah, I mean, when does this end is the question. You know what I mean? So after VPNs get banned and people still use VPNs, then what's next? Ban the internet, ban computers? I mean, it's just such a crazy slippery slope, man. John literally watches anime. I'm not sure why he lied about it. Maybe the people around him do not like it and he felt the need to do that. I think he just wanted to, like, you know, like generalize the people that attack him as like anime watching nerds, or, you know, how he accused me of like watching violent fetish videos and stuff. It's just like, yeah, I don't know. I think he just wants to like group us into a certain box. But again, through our actual conversation, he said he actually doesn't believe that it was mainly just jokes. So I don't know. It's tough to know what to believe. But thank you. Thank you. I'm trying to figure out how to say your name properly. Derdust. I appreciate that. So sorry if I'm missing some of your guys' chat messages, guys. Chat is moving pretty fast, and I'm very old, and my eyesight's not the best. So appreciate you guys. Thank you, Ralph. I doubt they were jokes. He's probably trying to save face. Yeah, you're right, homie. Probably not. But again, I just want to try to be, argue in good faith, and I want to try to be welcoming to someone when they come onto my channel. You know what I mean? Because I do feel like I went in pretty hard on him, and obviously I made a joke about him looking like inbred Eggman. So I feel like I am not mature either. I can't sit here and say that I did everything right. Obviously, I was being a bit of a dickhead too, in response to him being a dick to me, but still, I was being a bit of a dickhead too. So it's important to acknowledge where I went wrong too. I just think that's important as a human being. You know what I mean? But it was funny. I'm not gonna lie. You thought it was funny too, actually. Thank you, Dirdeast. Really appreciate you. Thank you for the $10, Karma Monkey. Appreciate it. At this point, I suggest people open a WRT router. It can do a VPN, has parental controls, community built. Fuck the companies, fuck the government. I use a Flint 3. Become reliant on yourself. That's a very interesting concept, Karma. I'll have to look into that. Thank you so much for the $10. Really appreciate it, dude. But yeah, I mean, I agree with your point. I mean, I think people need to start just looking into their own stuff, because you just can't trust the government anymore. Might as well ban the internet if they want to protect children that badly. Exactly, Chris. I mean, that's the slippery slope that we're going on. I mean, if we listen to people like, that support IDH verification, what is next? I mean, what is going to get banned next? They're going to ban routers. They're going to ban the internet. I mean, it's insane. And every single time, they're going to just keep saying they're protecting the kids thing. And that's what concerns me. You know what I mean? If we're going to keep using that argument, then don't let kids go outside because they might get hit by a car. Hashtag protecting the kids. I mean, where are we going to stop with this? So I don't know. A lot of you, so for those of you guys who missed the debate yesterday, thank you so much, Dirdeus. You're so kind. I appreciate it. But yeah, for those of you guys who missed the debate yesterday, one analogy that I use that I think a lot of people liked was when John was talking about the fact that parental controls are not effective because they aren't being used. So he was saying that they're not effective because people aren't using them. And I made the analogy to him that is like saying that gyms are not effective because there's still unhealthy people in the world, right? You have to actually use the service for it to be effective, right? How can you tell me it's not effective if people don't even use it, right? So I was trying to make the point to him that just because people don't use parental controls, if you're saying that is evidence for it being inefficient, that's pretty dumb, right? That's a pretty stupid argument. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not the best analogist in the world, but that was just what I came up with on the spot. Best for the parents to have their children watching PBS Kids instead of YouTube babysitting for them. Yeah, I mean, overall, I'd agree with that. I mean, I just think the entire concept of your child being 3 years old and then you hand them an iPad and then they just watch, YouTube slop all day or Instagram slop all day. God, that sounds awful for a child, man. PBS Kids was peak. Yeah, I agree. Homie, the archivist, you seem like you're around my age, buddy. So I agree with you. What was that pizza, olives, anchovies analogy? Okay, that wasn't an analogy. That was a joke, because I was asking him an A or B question, and then he said, I will pick B if, and then he gave me like a 2-minute long thing. And what I was saying is, I was making a joke about I gave him something very simple, i.e. a pepperoni pizza, and then he fucking put anchovies, fucking arugula, and goddamn pineapple on it. Like, you took my very simple thing and you put a bunch of other shit on it, and now you're trying to act like it's the same thing. It wasn't an analogy. It was just a joke. There was another joke that I made to him, and again, this is my fault. I just make very stupid jokes, but like, there's another joke that I made to him that he just didn't get at all. Does anyone here remember the joke that I made about, him saying mass adoption of like these laws or mass adoption of parental controls? I'm gonna assume nobody does because it seemed like no one really mentioned it. But I made a joke that he didn't understand at all, and I'm gonna say it again because I want to see if any of you guys get it. It was a stupid joke, admittedly. Thank you for the $10, Karma Monkey. I appreciate that. For people asking about the router, it is made by GeoNet, and OpenWRT is a community, Linux-based, and get around the router banned by USB local upgrades to the firmware. You're in control. Thank you, Karma Monkey. I appreciate the information. Homie, the archivist says I like my pizza with pineapple, beef, and barbecue sauce. See, that sounds good. That sounds good. But anyway, so what's it called? So he kept on saying mass adoption this, mass adoption that. And I don't know if anyone caught my joke, but I said, mass adoption? Why do you keep talking about mass adoption? What are you, Angelina Jolie? And he didn't get the joke at all. And so I just had to say, like, I was just kidding and let's move on. But my joke is that Angelina Jolie is a celebrity who's known for like adopting a bunch of kids. So it was just a play on words of him saying mass adoption. He didn't laugh. Nobody else in chat laughed. And I was like, oh, wow. All right, well. That joke fucking sucked. Let me put that in the back burner. Let me put that in the fireplace and burn it. But I thought it was funny. Thank you, Lynn. I'm glad one person thought it was funny. It's just a stupid pop culture reference. He probably doesn't even know who Angelina Jolie is. He's like, who the fuck is that? Oh man. I got the jokes. Thanks, Imbalanced Saber. Maybe it made me laugh. Thank you, Panda. Appreciate it. Yeah, I made a few jokes to him, and he didn't really get it. But it's okay. I mean, it was a debate. I think he was a little stressed. I know who Angelina Jolie is, but admittedly did not get the reference. Yeah, I think she's like, and obviously I'm not just like, I don't care. Like, if anything, it's a good thing that she's doing, but she's like adopted, I think, like 3 children. So he just kept saying mass adoption, mass adoption, mass adoption. And I was like, what are you, Angelina Jolie? What the fuck are you talking about mass adoption for? There was crickets. That man did not even give me a slight giggle. I was like, oh, man. That's the joke of the century, my friend. Thank you, Thomas. Appreciate that. And I'll take that on my comedy tour. Comedy tour is crazy. Comedy tour, and everyone will throw tomatoes at me. Did he say anything else about his anime takes? So basically, he was just saying that, like, he made a very interesting point. I don't think I've ever heard anyone say this before. He said, back in my time, anime was really popular, and you know, people always talked about anime, and if I told them I watched Pokemon, they would say, oh, it's not a real anime. And then he said, I mean, that's already ridiculous in himself because Pokemon is an anime. How is that even a debatable thing? It is an anime, right? And secondly, he said, I don't know if anime is as popular nowadays. And then I interrupted him. I was like, it's more popular. What? You think anime is not as popular now as it was like 20 years ago? What the fuck are you talking about? What are you talking about? I would argue that it was the opposite. Usually people used to think that when you would watch anime before, you're a loser. Yes. Okay, do you guys see what homie the archivist just said in the chat? You're a smart man. Anime used to be shunned. It wasn't popular. True. You know, not everybody hated anime, but a lot of people thought you were like a loser if you watched anime back in the day. But he literally said, yeah, you know, anime was really popular back in the day. I don't know if it is as popular now. What? That is so, that literally doesn't make any sense. And I'll tell you why. He literally said in the debate that all day, every day, he gets attacked by people who have anime avatars. Aren't you literally making the argument for anime being more popular today? What? I don't know. Obviously, that's not like an important point in the debate or anything. I just thought that was like funny. My man said he thinks anime might have been more popular back in the day than it is now. That's so funny. You're probably getting attacked for lumping people in the same category, right? Right? Exactly. Anime is more popular than the NFL. Yeah. As a collective globally, of course. I mean, the NFL in general, no one really cares about it outside of the United States. Yeah, I don't know. That was a crazy take. He thinks because an anime has a real world trading card game connected to it that it isn't real anime. Yeah, I mean, with that logic, then what is Yu-Gi-Oh not an anime? You know, it was a really weird thing. Really, only mainstream shonen is really popular. I mean, even if that was true, that's still anime. So with that logic, anime is popular. He's getting anime confused with... Okay, I don't want to say that word because YouTube might demonetize me. Yeah, I would agree. I think he thinks that they're like not mutually exclusive is not the right word, right? That they're what's the word? That they're adjacent. Like anime is adjacent with that L word that you just said. You know? YouTube will hit you with that yellow dollar sign. Exactly. That's what I'm trying to avoid. And that was another thing. And for the record, I don't think John was doing this on purpose. I think he was on accident. But I did tell him at the beginning of the debate, like, can we refer to the P word that rhymes with corn? Can we refer to that as adult videos, please? Just for the sake of YouTube. He's like, yeah, no problem, man. And I think if I had a counter, he probably said the P word like 12 times. And I was like, fucking hell, John, come on. I just told you, don't say that. YouTube's going to demonetize me, man. I don't think he did it on purpose. I think he just, yeah, I don't know. Dropped the hard P too much. Yeah, dude. I don't know. I like how we went from age verification to anime. Well, it's ironic that you say that because that's exactly how the debate went with me and John. He even told me that he wants to talk about the anime thing. Like he mentioned that to me. He wants you demonetized? I mean, maybe, but I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. I don't think he was doing that on purpose. That was very rude, even if it wasn't on purpose. I would agree. Yeah, I mean, obviously I told him not to say it, and he said it like 10 times. But again, I'll be nice. I'll say he was doing it on accident. Correct me if I'm wrong, but has an anime this decade, the 2020s, surpassed its previous popularity that had in the 90s? I mean, I don't know about like the statistics for that, but I would say, yeah, I think anime is more popular than ever. I don't know. Bro probably can't separate fiction from reality. Yeah, I guess so. I think he was mistaking anime for it starts with an H. Oh yeah, I know what you mean. It's more popular than ever. That's a fact. Yeah. Again, I don't have any like statistics, but I would imagine that it's more popular than ever because I literally see more anime fans than ever. I mean, I'm neck deep in the Dragon Ball community, you know? Like, Dragon Ball is bigger than it's ever been. Transformers and Toys is a Japanese mecha like. Wasn't there a Japanese anime about like something that was like Transformers? Okay, I forgot what it's called. Is it Gundam? Am I remembering wrong? Yeah, I think this is what I'm thinking of. Yeah, I mean, it's probably not like Transformers, like where they transform into cars and stuff like that, but it was like machine related or whatever. Welcome back, Artiguana. Well, what do you think about, you know, like, I guess we should get back on topic. What do you guys think about, you know, what is being shown on screen? Like, what do you guys think about the idea that 120 major tech companies are possibly lobbying for age verification? Not obviously, as we explained in the beginning of the stream, just because they're listed on a lobbying website doesn't mean that they are lobbying for it. It could mean that they're also lobbying against it. They're reported for lobbying, so it could be for or against. However, there are certain companies that we know for a fact lobbied for Meta or for IDH verification. I said Meta because I was jumping ahead here. Obviously, Meta is one of them. IDH verification is being lobbied for by Meta. That is something that we have shown on the channel and proven multiple times. So that's also a thing. Also, Grindr, the LGBTQ dating app, is also for and essentially funding IDH verification. Pretty surprising, that one. They made a real life Gundam? Really? That's cool. Transformers is based off a Gundam or Gundam? Really? I didn't know that. That's cool. Yeah. It's really random that Grindr's doing that. True, true. I've been really enjoying the live streams, by the way. Hopefully you guys have been enjoying the live streams. I still obviously plan to make actual videos too, but there just really hasn't been any topics. Like I didn't want to make a video out of this because I can't prove that the 120 companies are actually lobbying for ID age verification, you know? So I really hope you guys are enjoying the streams. I do want to do streams. I'll try to do one at least every night if I can. I love the interaction, you know? Obviously, I pride myself on reading pretty much everyone's messages. Sometimes the messages are too fast, but I try my best. Thank you, Slithery. I really appreciate that. Thank you, Artiguana. Thank you, Lynn. Thank you, Stuart. Appreciate that. Thank you, All Elites Are Bad. That's a good name right there. But yeah, I appreciate that you guys are enjoying them. Like I said, I don't want to make my videos and make a claim that I can't like prove, you know? That's why I put a question mark in the title of this stream, because, well, actually we do know that big tech is lobbying for ID age verification, but I can't make the argument that all major 120 companies listed here are doing it, if that makes sense. Meta deleted my account for not giving my ID. If you could send me some proof of that, I would love to make a video on that. Thank you, Zeph Taku. Really appreciate that. Thank you, TK, my man. Give a big shout out to TK. Appreciate that. I appreciate the channel members like Stuart. Thank you to Homie the Archivist for being a member as well. Bruskull, really appreciate it. DFA, really appreciate it. My man TK, though, specifically, he's been a channel member for, I think, more than a year now, so, or close to a year. So big shout out to the new TK421 plays. Great guy. Always brings good energy. I'd wager at least 15 to 30 of those companies are against it, but I wouldn't be confident about that number. However, it could be more, like you said. I'm not confident about those numbers. Exactly, Thomas. So I could have made this a video, you know, like an actual video, not a stream. But because of that uncertainty that I also have, Thomas, that's also why I didn't want to make it a video, you know. What's your opinion on the relatively new option in doctor's offices to let an AI record and summarize what you say there? Oh, I think that's so fucking weird. I mean, I guess if it's optional, I guess that's fine, but yeah, I don't want no AI involvement in my medical treatment. That's just fucking weird. Should make a video to distract from all of this just for one day break. I mean, I make videos that aren't like about ID age verification all the time. My last video wasn't about ID age verification at all, and neither was the last one. Neither was the one before that. You know, and neither was the fourth one. You know, so I try. Thank you, Bruskull. I really appreciate that. What's up, Train Boy Eric? Thank you, Jirai. I really appreciate that. I hope your pain gets better, dude. The world's looking bleak. We have to change it. Yeah, I never mind when people say that they feel like things are headed in a negative direction. I just don't want people to like have that opinion of like, we're fucked, it's over, you know? Because right when you start thinking like that, it's really the beginning of the end. Will not be buying GTA 6 if it requires ID. I don't know about like globally, but GTA 6 will have ID verification. That is a fact. I've already made a video about that going into that. I don't know if it's going to be a global thing or just in the UK or whatever, but here I can show you. GTA 6 is already confirmed to have, it will have ID age verification for communications, but I don't know if it's like a global thing. What's up, Mithy Gem? How you doing? Yes, I did hear about that, Zeftaku. Somebody mentioned that in one of the streams the other day. Yeah, that's fucking wild, dude. We gotta fight the stuff, not give in to the hopelessness. Yeah, agreed. Fighting this is all we can do, you know. Complaining about it is not gonna do anything about it, you know. They'll not be seeing my money then. Yeah, it's unfortunate. I mean, people do make the point that at some level these companies are being forced to do this, which on some level is true, but they have plenty of money. They could fight these laws. I mean, I don't like 4chan and I don't like Kiwi Farms at all. I think Kiwi Farms is a horrible fucking website full of a bunch of degenerate doxers that run harassment campaigns. But both of those websites, despite not really having that much money, are fighting against ID age verification laws in court. So if those companies can do it, why can't YouTube? Why can't Meta? Why can't Instagram? Or I mean, Instagram's part of Meta. Why can't Spotify? Why can't, you know, Roblox? Whatever. There are other companies out there that are worth billions. Some of them are worth trillions, and they still, they still can't go ahead and fight these ID age verification laws in court. You know. So it makes me think that they're working with them, right? And we already know for a fact that Meta is. So with all the other companies, yeah.
Do you think you shouldn't be worried because Supreme Court will strike it down because it violates the First Amendment? Oh, I should definitely be worried because the Supreme Court approved the Texas ID age verification law for adult videos. So we should all be worried. The Supreme Court approved that. So, yeah. It's definitely worth something worrying about, but what we shouldn't do is act like it's all over and there's nothing we can do about it, you know? Both 4chan and Kiwi Farms people are such a dickheads. Yeah. I mean, I don't really know what goes on 4chan per se. But Kiwi Farms, yeah, for sure, is full of a bunch of doxing losers. I was thinking more like a gaming video just to distract from everything for one day. I already have a dedicated gaming channel, my friend. It is called DH Gaming. It is on the homepage of my main channel. If you want to watch gaming videos, that's the place to go. But yeah. I don't think they'll ever fight these because it makes them liable and more visible to government action. 4chan and Kiwi Farms want as many shields to liability as possible. Well, then they're part of the problem. I mean, if you're not willing to fight for freedom and for privacy for your users, despite being worth trillions of dollars, you're part of the problem. I mean, plain and simple. If you are a company that cares about your users and you are literally worth trillions of dollars like Google is, you should be fighting this. That's just my opinion. To be fair, companies and their sites like 4chan have been around or longer than these companies, not excusing inaction or degeneracy. I don't really understand what that has to do with how they would fight it. I mean, you're fighting a law with your money and influence. You being around longer doesn't really have anything to do with it. You know what I mean? If you care enough, you will use your money to fight these laws. I mean, YouTube literally made statements against Australia and the UK saying that they disagree with their social media bans. If you disagree with them, why not fight them in court? Why did they do ID age verification for the United States? You know what I mean? It just makes you think. Thank you, Panda. I appreciate that. Like, do you guys like understand the net worth difference between Kiwi Farms and YouTube? Like, I actually tried to find the net worth of Kiwi Farms and I could not find it. I can look it up with you guys right now. You won't really be able to find it. Like, there's like a estimated monthly revenue that doesn't tell us shit. Kiwi Farms revenue is 5 million. That's like fucking nothing compared to YouTube. YouTube could make that in one day. You know, but there's no like really trustworthy numbers. But let's just say, for argument's sake, Kiwi Farms is worth 5 million, right? Do you want to see how much YouTube is worth? We're not even talking about Google, just YouTube. Do you want to see how much YouTube is worth? Holy shit. Well, that's just wrong. That's definitely wrong. Oh, they're talking about the channel. No. Okay. Okay, let's just look up the net worth of Google because they're not giving us the right numbers here. So net worth of Google specifically, net assets, this is for 2025, so it's not even accurate. They say 415 billion. I'm pretty sure it's more than that. Hold on. Most valuable companies in the world. Let's see if we can get like a list here. So by market cap, okay, here we go. So by market cap, Google is worth about $4.3 trillion. Yeah, I mean, come on, YouTube. Come on, Google. If you guys actually care, you would fight with us. So, and Google, obviously, is not exactly known for being the most privacy-focused company. In fact, they have been known for doing quite a lot of data tracking. So, it's okay, Thomas. I understand what you mean. I'm just trying to make the point that, like, if they wanted to, they would. You know, like, if the companies wanted to help, they would. Super Boop, you know, before you say something like that, you would have to prove it, right? I'm more than willing to listen, but you would have to prove it. You just saying that to me means nothing. Can you prove that? Bro can type 500 words per minute? Nah. I got fat, slow fingers. Google doesn't care about humans. In fact, they'd rather be some. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to make all those claims, but yes, Google is a very shady company. Don't be a John and prove it. I mean, Yeah, I mean, you just made a pretty bold claim. I mean, if you could prove that to us, that'd be great. Stream lagging. That's either you or YouTube. My stream is fine on my end. No drop frames, nothing. Anybody else's stream lagging? If it is, I'm gonna have to blame YouTube. Everything looks fine on my end. We're waiting, Super Boop. I hate when people claim things and don't back them up. Me too. Me too. Now, I support Deep Humor, but Brave is genuinely the same as Opera in terms of privacy. They load in their ad block if you use their search engine when they're saving and scraping that data. Again, like, first of all, could you prove that? I appreciate you supporting me, but the way you phrased it, how are you actually using that while talking about privacy? Well, maybe I just didn't know. I mean, you came off a little aggressive there, man. But yes, I would love to see a source for that. You just made two completely unsupported statements. Could you give us some sort of link or something I can look up right now on stream that we can look at? It was meant to be lighthearted, my bad. I don't see how in any world your comment would come off as lighthearted. You typed in all caps. How are you actually using that while talking about privacy? That doesn't really sound like lighthearted, but regardless, it's okay. I'm not offended. Could you give us a link? We're still waiting. Did you know that Kiwi Farms is originally used for CWC? I don't even know what CWC is. I'm sorry. I'm stupid. I'm autistic as hell, bro. That's my excuse. Okay. It's all right, man. I'm not offended, but could you give us a link? Probably like the 5th time I'm asking. What's up, Midnight? How are you doing? Hey, Deep Humor, what are you going to do on the 4th? I mean, I get together with my family quite frequently because I only live like 5 or 6 minutes away from them. But we'll probably just hang out, get dinner. I don't usually stay up for the fireworks. I'm old and I get tired, and plus I have to work early in the mornings. Does lobbying mean support or against? Technically, it could mean either or, Ice Cube. But typically when people say someone is lobbying for something, they mean that they're trying to push it and pay for it. But lobbying in general, you could also lobby against a law. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. I probably didn't explain that right, but yeah. Schweppy Boop is crazy. What's up, Broadway Limited? How are you doing? Good evening to you too, my friend. Super Boop, you know it's okay if you could just say like you don't have a source for what you said. It's okay. Like, we're not gonna beat you over the head over it. But obviously, if you make a claim like that Brave is spyware, then obviously we're gonna want to know like how, you know. What's up, Destiny of Koi? Yo, Deep Humor, first time sending a message on here. Just wanted to ask, since you like Dragon Ball, do you own any of the Dragon Ball games? And did you see the new trailer for Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2? Do you mean Xenoverse 3? I thought it was Xenoverse 3. But yes, I did see the trailer and very excited for it. The only Dragon Ball games that I personally owned was Dragon Ball Budokai 1 and 2, but I did play Budokai Tenkaichi at my cousin's house quite a lot. So yeah, I liked Gekishin Squadra, which is like a new Dragon Ball game that came out for phone and PC maybe like a year ago. Destiny of Koi, I don't know if you heard of it. I loved Sparking Zero, but there was like no offline content. I don't have a source. My belief system is gone. Like, okay, cool. Well, unfortunately, I think that you might get a little backlash from the chat for saying that, but it's okay, man. I love Firefox. Me too. Yeah, Firefox is actually my primary browser. I just use Brave for streaming, but I like Brave a lot too. Brave has actually liked a lot of my tweets, especially when I go in on Google. So appreciate them for that. Brave isn't perfect, but it's definitely better than Chrome. Firefox still my main though. I totally echo that, TK. Same. I would 100% prefer Brave over Chrome. I don't even know how that would be like debatable. But yeah, I agree. Firefox is my main browser. And also, you know how Firefox wins brownie points? They're against ID age verification, and they made not only did they make an official statement about it, but they participated in one open letter and they issued another open letter to like I think like the world's governments or the UK government over ID age verification. So shout out to Firefox. They are good in my book. And in fairness, Brave, I believe, did make kind of like a pseudo statement against ID age verification too, but one, that was kind of a while ago, and two, they didn't really like, they haven't like directly denounced it on Twitter. Not that I know. Maybe they have, but not that I've seen, you know. There have been people who've been insulted for bringing up sources, especially when using HRC as a source for certain things. I don't even know what HRC is. I'm so dumb. Firefox got shit on so much for years, and yet they kind of kept winning. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that Firefox is not perfect. I mean, nothing is, you know. I'm sure they've had their controversies too, but overall, I mean, I'm probably older than most of you guys in the chat, so I've been using Firefox since probably like the last 20 years. I've been using Firefox. Never had any type of problem with Firefox. Always been using it totally fine. I've never even actually used Google Chrome other than like at school or something, you know, as in my own computer, in my own house. I've always used Firefox, or I mean, back in the day, we also used to use Internet Explorer too, but for like the last 20-ish years or so, I've pretty much always used Firefox. What if a social media company refuses to pay fines or against ID age verification in the UK and Australia? That is actively happening right now, Harry. So there is a lawyer on Twitter who seems like he's really, you know, on our side of the argument here. His name is Preston Byrne, probably saying his name wrong, but he represents, you know, certain tech companies. One of them being, well, I guess not really a tech company, but like they represent 4chan, right? And Ofcom, which is the UK's regulator for whatever, some bullshit, right? They have been trying to repeatedly send 4chan fine after fine for not following ID age verification. And 4chan's argument is, dude, we don't even operate in the UK. Why would we follow your law? So Preston, who is their lawyer, who obviously represents them, keeps sending them photos of like an AI generated hamster. And then basically just saying like, yeah, why would we follow your shit when we're in the US? So yeah, that is actively happening right now. So basically what can happen is the Ofcom will issue fines, but I don't understand how they can force 4chan to pay them, you know? But yeah, it is hilarious. I actually made a video about the first time he did it. So right over here, 4chan just destroyed ID verification. Yeah, he just keeps sending them hamsters. So that's hilarious. Hamster reply was absolutely legendary. Yeah, true. Hey, D-Fumer, I saved my grandfather from handing over his ID from the website, and now he watches your videos about the internet. Shout out to you and your grandpa, buddy. Appreciate you guys. Only acceptable use of Gen AI. Yeah, I mean, if you're going to use Gen AI to combat privacy destruction, then I guess I'll give you a pass on that one. AI slop hamster rodent. Yeah, pretty much. Ding is owned by Microsoft, so you can be damn sure you're being tracked. Oh, super boop. I mean, I'm sure you're right on that one, but just, make sure we have sources for stuff, right? Oh man. Appreciate everybody who's here. You know, I know we haven't really been doing too much, like the past hour or so. You know, I have 10 tinfoil hats, bro. No, I mean, dude, I mean, I think you're probably right about that one. I can't agree with what you said about Brave until you give us some sort of source. If this was Kiwi Farms, he would have been ripped to shreds. Yeah, Kiwi Farms did kind of like a little thing about YouTube. Let me see if I can try to find it. But they like showed like they actually showed like an important piece of information about YouTube. Is this fucking Leafy? Okay, I was hoping it wasn't his bitch ass. But what's it called? I can't find it. But basically they were talking about the fact I already made a video on it. It's right over here. Let me see. It was like YouTube links are dangerous. Yeah, that video. Where is it? Right over here. So if you send like YouTube links of a certain kind, they have like a tracking thing on it where it can send like your whole channel name to people who you don't want to see it. And some people have their channel name as their real name, which obviously I recommend not doing. Don't have your channel name be your real name. But, you know, like they were sending links to people on Discord or whatever. And usually when you send a link, it just says like, it just shows the link, right? But for these links, it shows who sent it and you can dox yourself, you know? So in the video, just like what homie said, just in the video, just remove everything after the question mark after the link. Any plans for 4th of July, Mr. Deep? Like I said, I'll probably just go over to my family's house, hang out, eat dinner, but that's pretty much it. I never really stay up for the fireworks because I have work early in the mornings. I live and breathe sources, especially peer-reviewed scientific sources. I love science. Yeah, I mean, sources are always good. Really changing my link. Yeah, so basically, don't share links. Here, let me show you guys something real quick. Don't share links using the actual share button. Because when you share a link over here, do you guys see this right over here? That is what you don't want in a link. So instead, just go over to the actual web page and press copy and do it like that. Don't press the share button because this is like a little tracking thing right here. So that was what my video was about. A lot of people don't even use that. I've never even used the share button. Yeah, me neither. I always just grab the link from the top of the website, but a lot of people use the share button, especially on mobile. How to do it on mobile though? I mean, I guess you could just tell them the title of the video. I don't know if it works the same way on mobile, like if there's like that tracking link, but I know a lot of people use the share button on mobile. Honestly, I don't really know much about mobile YouTube, I'll be honest. And ironically, when I heard Keir Starmer step down, I felt a boost of hope that day. I don't mean to ruin your boost of hope, Thomas, but I did actually want to show you something that I saw today. Just give this a read, fellas. Andy is Keir Starmer's replacement, by the way, if you're wondering who Andy is. He will be the new Prime Minister of the UK in September, I believe. So for those of you guys who were there during the Keir Starmer stream that we did, I was questioning whether Andy would go with the social media ban because there was actually conflicting information. It actually seemed there was a few articles that I read where it was seeming like Andy was not necessarily against the social media ban, but he felt like it was being rushed. And that gave me a little bit of hope, right? Like, okay, maybe he wants to at least pause it or something. But apparently not only does he want to proceed with it, Burnham wants the ban to be delivered with, quote, urgency. That's not good. That is not good at all. So that is obviously very unfortunate. Yeah. So I might need to go into that and talk about that as well. I was actually probably going to do a stream about that tomorrow. So I'll go into detail with that tomorrow since we're going to wrap this up here in like 10-15 minutes. Gosh darn it, Andy, you were the chosen one. You're supposed to destroy age verification, not join it. Yeah, unfortunately. Meet the new boss, same as the old boss. Yeah, that's very true. Especially because they're from the same party. Again, I'm not politically inclined to the UK or even the US. I don't know shit about politics. But obviously, if you're both from the same party, you guys are going to tend to make the same decisions, you know. But yeah, I figured you guys would be interested in that. Yeah.
traded bad for worse. Segment, yeah. I don't know about like their overall policy on who would be better or worse or whatever, but obviously on this channel we care a lot about ID verification, and it seems like Andy is very adamant about trying to get that done. You know, I thought Andy's trying to remove age verification. Yeah, unfortunately not. Apparently he's all for it. So there goes his support. Like, I mean, he just lost all of his support from the younger generation, that's for sure. I actually don't know how old you have to be to vote in the UK. How old do you have to be to vote in? Okay, I can't spell. Fat ass fingers. In the UK. Let's see. Voting age 18. Votes at 16. What? Okay, I think it's 16 then. I don't know. Okay, well, let's just say it's 16. That is the exact age that the social media ban is happening for, you know, so, or under 16 rather. So he just lost all of his support with the younger generation. Can you talk about net nut as well? I don't even know what that is, but that sounds crazy out of context. I heard the EU is banning social media for kids. Yes, they are. We've already made several videos on that. They've made some official announcements recently. They're also going to be trying to ban VPNs. The EU, specifically the EU Commission, actually rolled out an age verification app that was hacked twice. So it's a prototype. So that was their argument. Like, oh, you know, it's a prototype. We expect people to find, you know, what's called loopholes or whatever. And it got hacked again. So yeah, not a good look for the EU. Do you remember that thing got hacked in 2 minutes? Yeah. The guy who did it, Paul Moore, I believe his name was, hacked it in 2 minutes, and he hacked it very quickly, even after they released like a patch or whatever. A prototype, totally. Yeah, exactly. Losers of Blame. I think that's probably their actual finished product that they rolled out to get feedback or whatever. And yeah, I don't know, man. Is the US passing any laws about under 16? Like for social media? I think they're trying to. There are currently tons of laws about adult content, but they are presenting, you know, social media bans. Utah is presenting VPN bans. Like that's a fact. So yeah, they're actually trying to ban VPNs. Thank you, Stuart. I really appreciate that. I really appreciate all the live streams that you do over the past few days. Never stop doing these. You've been doing a great job. Really appreciate that, Stuart. Thank you so much. And thank you for being a channel member, dude. Really means a lot. Andy's continuing the shit. Yes, unfortunately, he is. W. Stewart? Yeah, W to my man, Stuart. Why is it so hard for parents to just monitor internet usage? There's no valid excuse. Agreed. I agree. How you holding up? I'm good, Steel Force. How you doing? Under 16 bans would be difficult to survive any challenges. I think NetChoice shot down a few. Yeah, NetChoice has blocked a lot of adult bans or adult ID verification stuff. And I think that, yeah, they've also done some ones for social media as well. It's not hard. They're just lazy. Yeah, well, I mean, John would disagree with you on that, Lynn. When I did the debate with John yesterday, he was making it seem like you have to be like super tech savvy to do parental controls, which is obviously bullshit. It's going to be a breaking point like what happened in Nepal. I hope so, Mike, but obviously this country would be a lot harder to do a coup in than Nepal. Some people already tried, but let's not get into that. What browser do you use? For streaming, I use Brave. And for my regular everyday usage, I use Mozilla Firefox. Yeah, you need to be tech savvy or you're just lazy. Exactly. I mean, that was a point that I was making to John yesterday, but no, he disagreed. He actually thinks that like you have to be like a fucking like a genius to do the parental controls. Thank you, Imaginary Hoshiko. It is actually the exact same time for me as well, my friend. I am on Pacific Standard Time. If
If age verification apps are constantly getting hacked, why are they pushing for it so much? Because they want our information, biometric data to sell to AI companies, and they want mass surveillance. I mean, that's really what it is. Probably one of those guys who wants iPad parenting to be a valid method for parenting. Yeah, I mean, I would assume so, Void, but he actually told me that his kids don't have any devices of any kind right now. He said his oldest kid is 8. I'm not, releasing any information that he didn't say publicly. He said that yesterday. So his oldest kid is 8, and he said that they currently don't have any like devices. So I don't know what his parenting style is per se, or when he's going to allow them. Because I did straight up ask him. I was like, so let's say YouTube, for example. I asked him, like, how old do your kids have to be for you to let them start using YouTube? And he didn't really even know. Like, he didn't really think about it that far. But I just gave him, for the sake of the argument that I was making to him, I just said, okay, let's just say 13, right? You do realize that like YouTube has tons of parental controls that you can use, including one of them where you literally flip this button right over here, restricted mode, to on. And all of a sudden now, every video that has swearing, violence, and nudity will all be gone. Like, it won't even exist. The kids won't even be able to see it. And yes, you can lock restricted mode in parental controls. Not only did he not know that, but then he didn't really have like a counter argument for when I pointed that out. And again, I'm not that knowledgeable on all the other social medias out there. I'm very sure that they have something like that as well. I'm pretty sure every single social media has some type of profanity filter. I'm pretty sure every single social media has some type of nudity filter. Whether they work properly or not, I mean, that's a different story, but at least it would help, and that's the entire argument that I was making to him. But yeah. Good on him. Odd to be pushing for it if he's able to do it. Oh, yeah, exactly, Void. So he's pushing for ID age verification, and yet he himself is not giving his kids access to social media and that type of technology because he knows how dangerous it can be. So it's like he's the complete antithesis for like the people he's lobbying for, or the laws he's lobbying for. He's actually more so on our side in terms of what he's doing, which is when we tell parents, hey, be a parent, do your job, and watch what your kids do. If you feel like the iPhone or the social media is too dangerous, just don't let them have it. And that's literally what he does, which is ironic. It's so ironic it could cure anemia that he's going ahead and lobbying for ID age verification, or pushing for it, It's really weird. Hey, what's up? New to the channel, loving your streams, love to hear some common sense. Thank you, SDFGH. I really appreciate that, dude. Thank you so much for being here. He won the debate. He won. He crushed me. He destroyed me. Why that would give his kids social media? He didn't. That's the point I'm making. That he didn't give his kids social media, which is exactly what you should do when you have really young children. So, yeah, I don't know. Apparently common sense isn't as common as it once was. True. I mean, that's why it's the banner of my channel. I'm not over here arguing that I have super common sense and that I'm super smart. You guys know I call myself an idiot every day, and I truly believe that. But the reason why it says common sense on my banner is because common sense is like the most paradoxical thing of all time. It's actually not common at all. Because, for example, in terms of ID age verification, common sense actually is, hey, let's not make everybody have to submit an ID to use social media. But it seems like a lot of people disagree with that. It seems like the very politicians that make decisions for all of us, everybody sitting in this chat right now, they seem to disagree with that. And that's when you realize that common sense isn't actually that common. But yeah, people keep popping fireworks outside my house. Damn, they're getting started early. You might be in a different time zone, right? I'm in PST, so it's only 8:02 p.m. right now. So no, it's really quiet right now. I'm actually hoping to go to bed and go to sleep before they start lighting all that shit up. But yeah. At first I thought it was a bomb that detonated near me. No, well, I hope it's not a bomb. Holy shit. Well, I think we covered what we wanted to cover. I've been trying to keep these streams around the 2-hour mark anyways. Obviously, we went a little extra because of freaking the debate, right? So I think we'll call it a day. Thank you so much to everybody for watching. Really appreciate everybody who donated as well. You guys are awesome. Please make sure, if you guys could do me a favor, please subscribe with notifications on before you go. And please do leave a like on the streams. It really helps out a lot. So I appreciate everybody for watching. Maybe tomorrow we'll do a stream about Andy whatever his name is, the new Prime Minister of the UK, supporting ID age verification. We'll get into that a little bit. But yeah, really appreciate everybody. Take care of yourselves. Have a great night. Have a happy 4th of July if you celebrate. And I will see you guys tomorrow, possibly. Have a great night, guys. Take care. Love you guys. Bye-bye.